Welcome to another episode of the Stadium Journey podcast. Thanks for joining us. Stadium Journey is the ultimate website for the traveling sports fan. Our website, stadiumjourney.com, contains over 2,500 stadium reviews, news items, and more. Actually, we're 2,501 now because I did a new one. In addition to the website, we are all over social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. Like, follow, comment, and share everywhere. The Stadium Journey podcast is now part of the new and improved HIAC Talk Radio Network. You can find this podcast and all of HIAC's great content just by searching HIAC Talk Radio Network on your podcast search app or on Spotify. Just look for the shiny new black and red logo. In addition, all of our old video podcasts are on the Stadium Journey YouTube channel, perfect for binge watching on a rainy day like it is in Massachusetts right now. And if you're looking for any audio-only episodes of our back catalog, you can still find those at vocnation.com. And if you want to watch the show live, like our friend Greg is right now, the Stadium Journey podcast streams live Tuesday nights at 8 on twitch.tv/danlaw83. Although today it's 7. We're recording a little earlier. Go figure. We got a guest from the West Coast. We start earlier. Hey. And now let me introduce our starting lineup. Dave Cotney is with us as always. You can follow him online at Profan9. Mark Vica can be found at Ballpark Hunter. Dan Calachico, the above-average comedian, is here. You can follow him at DanLaw83. And I'm Paul Baker. You can follow me at PuckmanRI. And tonight, we are happy to be joined by Erik Mertens. Fans of the Tri-City Dust Devils may know him by a different name, Erik the Peanut Guy. He is the on-field host for the Dust Devils, and like us, an avid minor league baseball fan. Erik, thanks for joining us. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me. This is great to meet all of you face to face, and I really do appreciate the time change. Thank you. I know I'm the odd man out here, so thank you guys.
Oh, no problem. We have no worries about doing the show early.
I don't know. Mark's pretty odd, so
I'm gonna enjoy. You know, I had an invite to have some martinis down by my friend's pool today, and it wasn't going to be enough time. So,
oh man,
I like the earlier time. Could have been. I was going to do it from his pool, but I'm like, it might be a little bit too wasted to do the show. So I said Ixnay.
That could have been great for another reason.
That would have been fun. That would have been. Well, I did bring some Sky Vodka with me.
Oh, good. I was going to say, I owe you a drink then. I owe you
all
a
right.
drink.
Hey, when I get out to the Tri-Cities and look at that giant sunshade at the stadium, yes.
Yeah, throw back a few.
We'll have some martinis together. That's a promise. All right.
So Erik, how does one go about becoming the Peanut Guy?
Man, great question. So in 2001, the Portland Rockies, short season affiliate of the Colorado Rockies, moved from Portland, Oregon, up the Columbia River to the Tri-Cities, Washington. And I was a senior in high school. I was super excited about going to affiliated minor league games, but I didn't really have a lot of money. So my best friend at the time had just been hired as a peanut vendor. And he said, Erik, we need a second peanut vendor. If you come work with me, you can get paid to come to ball games. And I thought that was a great idea to my 18-year-old mind. So I did. And Johnny the Peanut Guy and then me, Erik the Peanut Guy, did that for 2 years. And then after the second year, our on-field host moved on to other things. And so our general manager came to me and said, hey, we love what you do with the peanut selling. Like, I got to know the fans really well. We would lead cheers. We'd kind of make a good time of it. He said, can you keep doing that, but then do the on-field promotions in between? Can you do both? I said, sure. So everyone knew me as Erik the Peanut Guy. But now I'm mostly the on-field host, and sometimes I still sell peanuts. Yeah.
As someone who managed the vendors at McCoy Stadium for several years, I can't imagine putting any of those guys, giving them that kind of responsibility.
Well, I didn't know you were at McCoy. That's amazing.
Yeah, 12 years I worked for McCoy.
Dang. My mom and I got to visit that place a few years ago on one of our ballpark road trips. That was fun.
Oh, beautiful.
So, knowing minor league baseball like I do, was there a pay increase when you got to be the on-field host, or was it just one of those, hey, do this too?
I think you answered your own question, knowing minor league baseball as you do. I will say, though, we got new ownership a couple of years after I made that switch, and we're now owned by Brett Sports, Brett Brothers, George Brett, Bobby Brett. They own a couple of other minor league teams, and they are amazing. Their management is super, some of the best leaders I've ever worked for. So when that happened, I did get a little bump, and they've worked with me over the years. But that initial shift, no, I did not.
We've had a lot of people over the last couple of months because it's been a big, crazy off season in minor league baseball. Yeah. So how did the reshuffling of the minor league deck affect you all over in Tri-City?
That's what has been taking all the space up in my mind for the past 20 months or whatever, because ultimately it ended out pretty good for the Tri-City Dust Devils. But initially we were on that initial cut list that leaked, which shocked all of us and dismayed all of us, just like every other, all the other 42 teams that were on that list. But they came out, the plan was to disaffiliate 2 of the 8 teams in the Northwest League. There's 8 teams in our league, and we're the smallest market. So right away I thought, oh shoot, if they're just going to look at market size, that's no good. However, we had a lot of things going for us. We were already in the middle of a multi-million-dollar stadium upgrade. The city of Pasco, where the ballpark is, had already committed to that even before these rumors started flying. We are geographically right in the middle of the league. And so they came out with new travel mileage restrictions with how many buses and overnight travel. And we are the only team in the league that is under the mileage requirements. All the other teams were over it. And also there was talk of moving our league to a full season league. We've been short season for 20 years. And the Tri-Cities, Washington, is in a very temperate climate. It's high desert, sunny almost all the year. People play baseball almost year round around here. So if you wanted to expand the season to early April, we're one of the only teams that aren't going to get rained out constantly. So I think because of all those reasons, and again, the great management and the work they did behind the scenes, not only did we kind of survive the shift, but we got promoted with the rest of our league to now a high A league, which is 2 levels up from where we used to be.
Yeah. And how has the response been so far? I know it's only about a month into the season.
Yeah. And it's been tough.
A little over a month, I guess.
Yeah. We're still in Washington State. We're still only at limited capacity for games. That's going to shift in a few weeks on July 1st. That changes to 100%.
Oh, perfect.
But we've been hitting that capacity most nights. And what's been really cool is that we have a pretty educated fan base. So all of this talk of contraction was not lost on our community. So they've been following everything, and everyone's just so grateful that we have affiliated high-level minor league baseball. What's interesting is that we're Seattle Mariners territory. Everyone loves the Mariners up here. And like I said, everyone in the Tri-Cities, baseball is a huge part of our culture here. So when we learned we were shifting from a Padres affiliate to the Los Angeles Angels affiliate, a lot of people are like, ooh, interdivision with the Mariners. But everyone's like, hey, we have baseball. We are so excited. The Angels have committed to a 10-year, contract with the Tri-Cities. So the reception's been really good.
And then one thing about your ballpark that I wasn't aware of until I spoke with you a few months ago, less than a few months ago, is, we look at oddities at ballparks, and Segra Stadium has one of the most unique features, a giant sunshade that it gets so darn hot there that they had to build an extension. And when you think of Washington State, unbeknownst to most of us, we think of Seattle weather.
Right.
But obviously high desert. So how hot did it get? Because I would hear that people on the third base sign would be cooking like bacon.
Yes. Well, this Sunday we have a game, 6 p.m. game first pitch time, and it will be 111 degrees at first pitch.
111. That's a dry heat.
Yes. Dry heat. It's a dry heat.
It's a dry heat, folks.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, like if you're not from the Northwest, the geography could be surprising. The Cascade Mountain Range goes right down the middle of Washington and Oregon. So everything west of the Cascades, Portland, Seattle, Vancouver, BC, You have more rainy weather, kind of the coastal climate. But east of the mountains, we're in the rain shadow. So very sunny, very dry most of the year. Gets really hot, especially around the Tri-Cities and Yakima area, Walla Walla area. So when they built Giza Stadium, they faced it south. Yeah, sorry. They faced it south to face the Columbia River and these hills that are like the foothills to the Cascade Mountains. It's this beautiful backdrop. But because they did that, the entire third base side on the field and in the stands were just baking like 110, 115 degrees regularly on these metal bleachers. And
oh my God.
Our attendance suffered, obviously. No one wanted to sit there. So one of the first things the Brett brothers did when they bought the team was to use some of their money, and the state had some money that they were giving to all the minor league teams in Washington State, some surplus budget money, to build $1 million humongous sunshade that's behind the first base bleachers, first base stands. But at game time at 7 p.m. every night, the shade covers every seat in the ballpark and the infield. So, and it decreases the temperature at least about 10 degrees on average.
Wow, that's what a neat feature.
Yeah. It's kind of fun. Like, it's unlike anything too. I've seen other shades, like the ballpark in Yakima used to have like a big tarp thing. I know Boise used to have a blimp. They would try to like.
Oh, really?
Like,
so this is something that goes on. Okay, I was unaware of that.
Yeah,
That's
the
amazing.
inland Northwest, the between the Rockies and the Cascades, everyone's trying to figure out the shade. But I think we got a winning design with ours.
What about a dome stadium? Will we ever see
Right?
that?
Yeah.
A minor league retractable roof
Oh
stadium.
man. If that ever happens, I'll meet you all there.
First of its kind.
Yeah.
All right.
It reminds me a lot of Fitzner, Paul.
That was one that could have used a shade or a
A shade.
Could have used exterior.
metal stadium with no shade. Forget it. Oh,
Was that Potomac?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I got
my.
to visit that one once, but not for a game.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Erik.
Not for a game. So he got
Not
lucky.
for a game. I just wanted to buy a hat.
Yeah, there you okay, there he got out of it then. Because it's just, I'd be so excited. Because, Philly transplant to Northern Virginia. Okay, it's baseball. I'll go. It's literally, not to give away, it's right there. So it's like, yeah, go. And then you get there in the summer, you're like, I'm good. This is too hot. I'm out of here.
Yeah, that's right.
second inning, I'm done.
Yes.
Dave,
So-
Dave, you're being so patient.
I am. I'm polite like that, Canadian,
So anyway, no, I'm kidding, Dave.
So, Erik, you guys are going from an 8-team league that played a short season to a 6-team league that's playing a long season.
Yeah.
At what point do you think like fatigue of seeing the same 5 teams is going to set in, or do you think it will, or like is it even going to matter? What do you think?
That's a great question, Dave. That was my first thought when they said they were going to contract 2 teams from our league. I was like, pick another league. There are leagues that have 20 teams. And now we're doing like all of affiliated minor league ball. We have 6 game series, so we see pitchers twice in the series now.
Wow.
Not only that, but this year they paired up, like, they're not travel partner teams, but the next nearest team geographically, you're going to play them a lot more because they want to cut down on travel, I think, for COVID. But so we see the Spokane Indians, like, over a third of the season we'll play the Spokane Indians, something like that.
Sounds like an AHL schedule to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they cut down the travel, but you have to take 3 buses.
Yeah. I don't know. They're working it out. They're figuring it out. But Dave, I think we're going to find out by the end of the season. I mean, we're still early enough in the season where, for example, tonight we start a 6-game series against the Everett Aqua Sox. First time Everett's come to the Tri-Cities this season, so our fans are excited. Not only that, but they're a Mariners affiliate who are stacked with Mariners prospects, so all the local baseball fans are excited for that. But yeah, man, I think like in a month or 2, I would love to reconnect on this question to see how we're feeling.
But from your perspective as an employee, This must be great. I mean, you're 1 week on, 1 week off, 1 week on, 1 week off, 1 week on, 1 week off. It's got to be I don't know. They must have hired like a kindergartner to do the schedule or something. Like just somebody wrote it on a napkin because this has got to be the easiest schedule ever created. It's just so simple. But you must be liking that a week on and a week off.
I do, man. Yeah, and I work at Gonzaga University during the school year. That's kind of my full-time day job. And so it's been really nice to kind of talk to my supervisors at Gonzaga, like, hey, this week, can I work remotely? Or this week? Because Gonzaga is in Spokane, which is about 2.5 hours from the Tri-Cities. So, it's a little bit of a drive. And, but not only that, so yes, I, as an employee, I kind of like that. And I can schedule little vacations or go hang out with my girlfriend on this week, but then the team is home this week. But the fans, I'm starting to feel like the fans kind of like it too. Because instead of, staring at a magnet schedule for 10 minutes trying to figure out when the next series is, or a 3-gamer, then we're on the road for 7 and then back home for 5, they can say, hey, this week we're going to Dust Devils game. This week we're going to the beach or whatever.
I know for planning road trips, though, it's been super inconvenient because if you're taking a week's vacation somewhere, you're either going to hit a team or you're going to miss them.
Yes. No, you're right. So I'm enjoying meeting a lot of you because I follow some of you. It should be all. It will be after this on social media. And
I don't go anywhere. That's cool.
Okay. You go to the Fits?
Not anymore.
Oh, that's a good point.
Hey, I don't go anywhere.
Right
He's
now.
Canadian. He's not
Nowhere
allowed.
to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like you all, or most of you, I go on ballpark road trips every year. And I just got back from one about a week ago. I hit Idaho, Utah, Western Colorado. But there was one day when no teams were home.
I hate when that happens. It's like, what do? You go crazy.
Seriously. You know what I did do is I was in Salt Lake that day. So I saw the Sandlot movie site. And,
nice.
Okay, helps that.
I went to some
helps out.
old baseball sites. Yeah.
It helps out. It helps out when you're in a major city. When you're in Montgomery, Alabama, with a day to kill.
Look at that.
Autographed
Wow.
pitcher.
That's from him.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't want to see any. Don't want to see any Civil War, Confederacy. Cemeteries.
Oh, in Montgomery. Yeah.
Oh, that's a Confederate cemetery. Okay.
Dude,
Oh, no.
my mom and I went to Montgomery a few years ago, and I think I read a historical marker at the ballpark that one of the buildings used to be a prisoner of war jail.
Yeah, POW
Yes,
for the Union soldiers. It was.
That blew my mind.
That is amazing to think that building is that old and it's a part of that ballpark. But that's what I love about it. Great. I mean, Riverwalk Stadium is a beautiful stadium. Don't get me wrong. Had a great time there. I just didn't like Montgomery that much. Now, that was a few years ago. Maybe things have changed. So,
yeah.
If it has, please contact me. Let me know what to do in Montgomery when you don't have a baseball game to go to. I could have spent more time in Birmingham, which I did have a good time at. So,
I think that's the new secret now. You got to make sure you're in a nice city on the Monday.
Yes.
Yeah, right. And Paul, to your point about trying to fill in the gaps with the scheduling, I've been going to more collegiate woodbat games.
That's what we do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
I wouldn't have gone to the Canyon County Spuds, if I hadn't scheduled that way. And I had a blast. They're a brand new team in the Expedition League, and I might be going to a game in Butte in a few weeks. But because of the scheduling discrepancies, but that's fun.
It's nice. I love going to those smaller type of collegiate woodbat leagues. I did a few road trips that included that as well. And I would say the 6 or 7 that I've been to this year, all have been very unique and different from one another. There has not been that one. It hasn't been that one experience where I said, okay, this is similar to where I was a few weeks ago. Right. Everything's been a little bit different, including the ballpark, the food, the atmosphere, the fans. I've been to some. There was one I went to this weekend that was really odd, and I may talk about it later on, but we'll talk about that later.
I'm intrigued.
But yeah. So, not one thing else I want to let the viewers know: if you ever go to the ballpark in Tri-Cities, there are 2 giant-sized bobbleheads. One is a guy you may know named Russell Wilson. Super Bowl MVP or Super Bowl quarterback, I should say, and the other one is Erik himself, the Peanut Guy. So, how did you get a bobblehead with a future NFL Hall of Famer, perhaps?
And yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
So you have to. That's an honor. That's an honor.
It totally is. So Russell Wilson played for the Dust Devils in 2010 when he was first drafted. He was still in college playing college football too, but the Rockies drafted him. So he spent a summer here in the Tri-Cities. So again, huge sports community, Tri-Cities, Washington. Everyone's a Seahawks fan, Mariners fan. So we have to eat that up. Last year, obviously, was rough for everyone. But about halfway through the summer, I realized like my mental health was kind of not doing good. And I realized part of that was because this is the first year in 20 years that I hadn't been at a Dust Devils game and with my friends and the season ticket holders and slinging peanuts, and so Daryl Ebert, our general manager, called me up and he's like, "Hey man, next time you're in town, let's come on out to the ballpark. We'll have a beer and just catch up." And Daryl Ebert and Brent Miles, our vice president, GM, and president, are two of the best men I've ever met in my life. So I was like, yeah, of course. I need that. So I get to the ballpark, and not only is Daryl there, but the whole front office, who are, again, amazing people. And it was like a reunion because we hadn't seen each other for a year. And we turned the corner to where I thought we were just going to go shoot the breeze and have a beer. And there's a gigantic life-size bobblehead statue of me staring back at me. And it was very emotional, very emotional. And in that split second, a lot of what I had missed from that year got refilled. Like my empty tank kind of got refilled. And so they were going to unveil it on opening day 2020, which never happened. And so they kind of unveiled it to me as a surprise last August, I think.
Did they give you a raise with it, or?
There's your raise.
No comment.
Big head.
You get a bobblehead.
or did they give you an invoice?
Yeah.
Well, that bobblehead's not free,
Actually, what's cool?
I'm just kidding.
Well, what's cool is that the bobblehead was sponsored by a friend of mine, Dr. Reddig, who is a chiropractor in the Tri-Cities. He owns a couple businesses, and they sponsored the bobblehead. And so not only was it like the Dust Devils front office, but some of our fans who were just a big part of the baseball community here, and they came together to pay for it. So.
Well, I do know what you're saying, Erik, because my time with the Paw Sox, it wasn't really a job; it was a family, and I've never had a workplace that treated me as well as the Paw Sox did during my time there.
I'm happy to hear that.
I didn't get a bobblehead, but
hey, well,
there were some great other perks I enjoyed in my time there.
Yeah, you probably deserved one. It sounds like.
No, geez, 12 years didn't even put me in the top 10 there.
Oh,
I mean, of course,
man.
Of course, only a couple of them made it up to Worcester, but yeah, there were some people who were there for their adult lifetime. So
you know what I love about visiting ballparks on the East Coast is just like the history. I mean, we have history over here too, don't get me wrong, but like you could feel the history when I was walking around McCoy Stadium, just like the legacy of that place.
Well, I hit you over the head with it. They had displays everywhere.
Yeah.
Absolutely right.
So, yeah, since you are a fellow traveler, let's talk about some of your travels and some of the great places that you've been and some of your favorite spots.
Oh man, I could talk about this for hours. This is
we've got hours.
Man,
well, how long do you have?
Yeah,
got a game tonight, folks.
Changed for the game. Come on out to Geisa Stadium. We'll do this out there. Yeah, about 6 years ago, I realized that I finally had an income that I said, hey, I can buy a plane ticket and just pay for a vacation, go visit ballparks for a week or something. Before I would always,
idea.
Yeah.
My wife still is not on board with that thinking. Although,
man, well, I'll see if I could talk to her. But
I got no complaints. She just won't do a plane specific. We have actually. I can't lie. But
good.
The spur of the moment. Hey, let's just go for the week. Let's go to Tampa because we haven't been there yet. No, we're not doing that.
Well, I used to just when I would travel for like a wedding or work trip, I would always find the nearest, minor league park or major league park and tag it on, buy a hat. My thing is I like buying on-field hats. But so anyway, about 6 years ago, I thought, wait a second, like I can just go visit ballparks. So I looked at the map of the United States and found the most condensed bubble of minor league parks. So I flew into Durham, Raleigh, North Carolina, and hit 27
That
parks
makes
in
sense.
7 days. Yeah.
27 parks in 7 days?
Yes.
Not all games. You just
Oh
visited.
no. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Yeah, that'd be weird. I would
That'd be awesome.
I know, right? Gosh. It'd be like when
that'd be more than I could ever imagine. I would be like, no more ballparks.
Do you remember a few years ago when Will Ferrell was doing spring training games in Phoenix, in Arizona, and he would hop from ballpark to ballpark and play one inning?
Yes.
And he had a helicopter pick him up from each of the spring training.
Yeah, it's easy to do in Phoenix. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, so anyway,
I
that
could
North
see that
Carolina trip, I just fell in love with a rental car, an open road, some solitude, and visiting minor league parks. And so
I'm with you, brother.
Man, I've been so blessed. I've visited about 150 ballparks. 123 of them were active minor league parks up until this past year with all the shifts.
Yes.
And I've been to, I think, 23 major league parks. And I've been to a game at about a third of that number. So I'll end each day at a game, but like visit, other ones during the day.
Erik, we are looking for a correspondent in the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah, we do need a course. Yes, we do need some updates.
Yeah. Seriously, I would. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me know more.
We need that Washington State. We need that Washington State football review.
Ooh, I've been there. I grew up going to Cougar games.
Oh goodness, I don't think we had. I think there's like one college football stadium in somewhere in that area. Is it Washington State or is it somewhere else that has never been reviewed or hasn't been reviewed in years just because we don't have somebody out there?
Could be. It's probably Washington State.
Yeah, it's probably Washington State.
Do you get when you go to the game? Do they give you like a glossary of what the heck Mike Leach is talking about?
I wish he was still here. His press conferences were just pure gold, as I'm sure you know. And I think
he's a weird dude.
Dude, Pullman, Washington is a beautiful college town in the middle of these rolling wheat fields. It's picturesque, it's majestic, but it's in the middle of nowhere. And so it takes a special coach, to live there and succeed there, which he did for a while. But
all right, where were we? I forgot. Some of the best places you've been, Erik. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You're preaching to the choir with that road trip thing. Yeah, that gets in your blood. Once you do it and you plan that road trip and you're like, oh, I got a game every night. Wait, I can do 2 games on this day.
Yeah.
Because we're having our annual get together down in North Carolina. And as soon as, the fun was on, and I know I've got planned 11 games in 9 days while I'm down there. So.
Oh my gosh. I can't wait to follow along.
Yeah. So I hear you. So yeah, regale us with some good stories, man. That's why we got you here.
Yeah. Oh man. Okay. So that first trip to the Carolinas, I was most anticipating Asheville, the Asheville Tourists.
Ooh.
And they used to be when the Dust Devils were a Rockies affiliate for our first 14 years. And Asheville was the team right above us in low A. So when Dust Devils got promoted, they go to Asheville. And that's what happened to Russell Wilson. He only played for 2 minor league teams, Tri-City Dust Devils and Asheville Tourists. But I'd read so much about the history of McCormick Field and just the picturesque Blue Ridge Mountains. And so that's probably one of my favorites of all time. I got to do a Florida trip, but also a little bit of the South with my best friend Putty, and Pensacola, a ballpark in the Gulf of Mexico, basically like on a little peninsula, like in the water on 3 sides. And what I love minor league branding, logos, hats, colors, uniforms. And the fact that their colors are navy blue and neon pink. And then you sit there at a ball game and the sky is blue with neon pink sunsets. I mean, I just was like, this is genius. That's one of my favorites. My mom and I we flew into Memphis and we got to do like Tennessee. And that's when we hit Montgomery and Birmingham. But Memphis and Nashville were amazing ballparks. I loved how Memphis was like built into the downtown.
That is very nice how they did
Oh my
it.
gosh, yeah. So, and we came out
Yeah.
of the game and we went to like Beale Street. That's Memphis, right? Beale Street. Yeah.
Yep.
Yes,
and there were
that's
like
Memphis.
bands playing, and there were like carriages, and there was like a parade going by, and we were
Yeah.
like, "This is amazing." Yeah. I'm partial to some ballparks out west, of course. I'm sure West Coast bias, but
That's okay. We don't talk enough about the West Coast, so
okay.
we'd love to hear.
You're
some
absolutely
information.
right. We do not talk about all those beautiful West Coast minor league ballparks, the former California League ones.
Yeah.
So go on, rant, rave.
Awesome. Hey, I appreciate that. My first ever favorite minor league park is San Jose, because everything has a mural on it. Everything's painted. They have I didn't get to go to a game at McCoy, but you said like they hit you over the head with nostalgia and history. I have a feeling that San Jose is like that too. And there's just fun. Like there's like murals on all the walls. There's footprints painted on the concourse. Just seems like a really fun place. The Tacoma Rainiers is one of my favorite AAA ballparks. It's beautiful. It feels like you're in the Northwest. I mean, it's got wooden architecture, Native American artwork. You can see Mount Rainier from the seats. I love Missoula, Montana. Go Paddleheads. My girlfriend and I are going there in a few weeks. Meeting up with some.
I love to get the hat from there. Yeah.
Oh man. So last summer, she and I went there for a weekend. And of course, no baseball, but they had trivia nights at the ballpark, movies on the big screen. I ended up buying 7 Missoula hats when I was there.
7.
They just have the coolest logo. Yeah.
No, they do.
Yeah.
Now, I was just at a ballpark in Schaumburg, Illinois, and they had a really nice looking cap. It was tricolor. They didn't have my size. They just had small, medium. Now, how do you just have a small, medium this early in the season?
I can give you the answer to that, Mark. Check your phone bill. Your wife phoned ahead.
Oh,
Like, hide all the hats.
it was $20. No, there's a lot of wives must have been calling Schaumburg Boomers.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I looked at them and I said, "What? You don't have an extra large or a medium large?" And it's a beautiful hat. The Schaumburg Boomers have great looking jerseys. I even was talking to the bullpen about it during the game. They really have sharp colors, and I would have loved to have been wearing that right now, even though what's wrong with the Metsies. But it's their loss. They lost $20 for me.
Dang. So, yeah.
So Erik, when you do 27 ballparks in 7 days, how do you decide which ones you actually go to when they're, functional, when there's something going on?
Yeah. So that's a great question. One of my favorite things to do. So my dad, he passed away 4 years ago, but he was an engineer and we have German heritage. So planning things gets us excited. And so my favorite thing to do is when I'll pick a region of the country and wait for all the season schedules to come out. And like we were talking about before this year, it was a hodgepodge of homestands and lengths of homestands. And to see, okay, like I'm flying into Raleigh. Well, both the Carolina Mudcats and the Durham Bulls are home that night. But so I'll run to Zebulon and like visit the Mudcats real quick, but I want to catch a game at Durham because I've heard so much about that ballpark. So, and then, some of the teams I wanted to see weren't home. So those would be the ones I'd visit during the day. And the teams that were home that night, if they were within, a 5-hour driving radius, and that's where I'd end up and kind of piece together where it goes. But on that specific trip, the farthest south I was going to go was going to be Columbia, South Carolina. But I realized like that morning I found a Starbucks and I was like drinking my coffee, because you're right, I don't get any sleep on these trips, as I'm sure you all have experience with. But I was doing some math and I looked on my map and I was like, I could drive down to Charleston. I would have about 10 minutes to visit their ballpark, buy a hat, take some photos, hit the road and get back to Columbia in time for the game, for the Fireflies game. And that's what I did. And when I told people I was in Charleston for 20 minutes, like they want to slap me. They're like, it's like the most historic city in the country, and you were there for 20 minutes. But I saw the ballpark. I saw what I needed to see. I had a friend that lived there. I saw her for like 5 minutes and then hit the road again.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I could pull.
You are
that off.
describing my
that-
process here. This is really freaking me out, man.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't do the quick hit. I like to spend some time. The only difference is I like to spend some time in the city. So if I've got a day, and you mentioned Columbia, I'll check out every good thing there is to do in Columbia, or as many as I can fit in.
I think I might need to start doing that more, to be honest, because I'm missing out on a lot. Oh, Mark, I think
you muted, Mark.
So I had an airplane go by. No, I was saying with Erik, I was like that too. I would just go to a ballpark and come back. When I lived in New Jersey, I drove to Pittsfield, Mass, just to check out a game up there at their historic park.
Yeah.
And if I was smart enough, I just would have got a hotel and maybe checked out some other ballparks in the area. Just like Springfield, Illinois. I went out there a few weeks ago and checked out Route 66, the Lincoln Monument.
Oh, cool.
Checked out some cool stuff out there instead of just driving back home. Went out to Alton. So yeah, sometimes I'm with you there. Like when we went to Des Moines a few years ago for a meetup, there was a ballpark 90 miles away in this small little town. It was a small little college woodbat league. I can't even think of the name off the top of my head. I want to say Carrollton, Iowa. And I wanted to go there. I was like, oh, that's cool. But I wanted to hang out with the rest of the Stadium Journey people that night in Des Moines. And I got to really fall in love with Des Moines just because I didn't just chase a ballpark. And sometimes that's hard not to do. You want to go to every ballpark. You get excited. I was telling my sister-in-law on Sunday, she wanted me to go to church with them, a Baptist church. I wasn't interested. I said, hey, I'm going up to Schaumburg to check out their game. And I told her, that feeling you get when you're at church? That's kind of how I feel when I go to a ballpark. So we had to come to conversation about that. So yeah, it is hard. But yeah, it's hard. But sometimes when you sit around and you visit the city and you get to go to some cool place to eat or check out a monument or a museum or just walk the downtown, that's also exciting too. Like Traverse City. If you ever get out to Traverse City, Michigan, just don't go. I was just there for the day. I mean, overnight. I wish I would have spent a couple days there. There was a lot of other things to see there. And there was no reason for me to return as quickly as I did.
It's got to be more than just the checklist. Like if you just chase the checklist, then I don't know. Can you count it? Well, yeah, I waved at that place as I drove by.
Right.
Dave once referred to ballpark chasing as Pokemon one time.
Yeah.
You gotta catch them all.
Right. This is really good. This is the conversation I need to have more with people who understand, because again, as the son of a German American engineer, the checklist is like the most important part. And so I'm like, gotta get there, gotta, check it off, buy a hat, take a photo, check, did it. But I've been really blessed. My mom has come on some of these trips with me after Dad passed away. My best friend Putty, my girlfriend Karina, and they are always the ones like saying, I was with Putty in Southern Virginia, and we were driving between Salem, Virginia and Norfolk. And he's like, we're going to go right by Appomattox and Monticello. And we're not from here. We're from the Northwest. He's like, we got to stop. And I was like, man, we got to be in Norfolk and he's like, dude, we're going to stop. And I'm so glad we did. And my mom did a similar thing when we were in Hartford. She's like, Mark Twain's house is like right off the road.
Right up the road. Yeah.
And again, those have turned into some of the best memories of these trips.
I've still never been there. I've been
oh no.
Hartford 7 billion times.
Appomattox, yeah.
It's important to have that you have the voices. Go to more parks. Go to more parks. You need that somebody to say no. Stop and smell the roses.
Exactly.
Find a great restaurant. Find a good brew pub. Find a historical site. Something of interest.
Yes.
And
slow down. Take it easy. Take it easy. You're
absolutely
right.
What's a great sort of drive-through spot where you don't have to have anything scheduled. And this is something that I found that we've done is college campuses, like big time college campuses, especially in the South, right? Like, driving through Tennessee or Alabama, or where else did we go? Like Florida State or Florida, or some of these really big time campuses, and like Alabama, we all know Alabama and the Tide football and blah blah blah. But the campus is just unbelievable, and especially for me, I went to a small Canadian university, and our football stadium would be compared to, like, I don't know, an elementary school stadium in Texas, maybe, or something like
So
that.
still good. Yeah.
but just to get there's so much more than just the sports facilities. Like in Alabama, you go by the sorority row where all the houses are, and they're huge, and then you go to the fraternity row, which is even bigger, and it's a good stop, and it's a good way to get sort of a little bit more than just those kind of athletic parts, and they're oftentimes in the middle of nowhere. So you're kind of driving through that area, and this is Tuscaloosa. Okay, what's here?
That's a great point. Because on this most recent trip I did, which was like the kind of the Rocky Mountain West, Idaho and Utah and Colorado, I had a moment where I was like, wait a second, I love baseball, especially minor league baseball, because it unites communities, it unites cultures, it connects our entire continent, and it's all about the people and the connections. And so if I'm blowing through these cities too quickly, that's what I'm missing. Ballparks are great, but if I don't go find a pub, or if I don't go drive through the college campus, then like the reason I love minor league baseball is kind of getting lost on this trip.
Yeah, my daughter, when we drive through a state, like my daughter likes to collect states, and her thing is you have to do something, eat something, and see something. So
that's awesome.
When we were in Colorado, we drove.
My list with my wife is a little different.
When we drove from Colorado to Salt Lake City, the quickest way to get there is you go north, go west through Wyoming, and then drop down south. Well, you got to plan really well to do something in Wyoming.
Yeah. Yes, you do.
So, we had lunch in Cheyenne, and stopped and saw the University of Wyoming, and so she got to keep Wyoming as part of her list.
I like Cheyenne. It's a nice little city.
Yeah.
How many states does your daughter have?
You know what? Yeah. I like doing 80 miles an hour in Wyoming. That's what I appreciate.
Yeah, that's true too.
And they've been doing that for years. Like,
you got to plan what you really have to plan in Wyoming is gas. The number of places the number of exits that you drive by that say no services at this exit, there's a lot. My daughter has, I think, somewhere around, I'd say between 35 and 40 states.
Dude, and she lives in Canada?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
She's only been to 2 provinces, though.
Yeah.
No. I think
amazing.
she's been to 7 provinces. So we get around a bit.
At 18, that's awesome,
man. Do any of you listen to Jim Gaffigan, the comedian?
Yes, Jim Gaffigan is he's from I want to say he's from Indiana.
Yeah, he is. He has like sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
He has a newer special. Well, it was new like last year. I think it was on Amazon Prime, where he talks about Canada for the entire special, and he has a whole bit about the different provinces.
Right.
And how each province is different and how they were connected. And I don't know. I mean, I live somewhat close to BC. I've been to BC and Alberta, but it was a good bit.
Yeah, one of the things I remember, he was like, she got something called the Northwest Territories on your map. It's not from the 1800s. It's from this year. You still have territories.
That's because there's nobody else.
I just started cracking up, Mike, because it's like just making a province, just say,
there's not enough people to make it a province.
Why not? I mean, I don't know. That's just kind of weird to me. Where you're from? I was born in the Northwest Territory. I was born in the Northwest Territory.
My daughter did chime in. It's 36 states
up with
and
the
8 provinces.
Come up with a cool name. Well, I've been
36 and 8.
I need to go to Newfoundland. That's the only province I need to go to.
Oh,
I have not been to Newfoundland.
Back on the speed limit thing, Greg says at one point Montana had no speed limit whatsoever, but then the courts decided that it was arbitrary and capricious to just give people tickets for driving like dingbats instead of for exceeding some arbitrary speed. I don't know.
Living in the Northeast, man, I could give out a lot of dingbat tickets.
I've seen some people that have started driving again after being locked down so long, and I'm like, nah, speed limit's probably a good idea. Don't give people free rein.
That's what I miss about the pandemic, man.
man.
The traffic is back.
I miss nothing about the pandemic except for being able to drive around.
I drove through Montana a number of times when they didn't have speed limits, and that was fun. But yeah, it makes sense because how could you pull someone over if you don't have speed limits?
But if you drive off the road, it's going to be a good week until somebody finds you.
Oh, that is the gosh dang truth, dude. Yeah, man. The thing is, though, too, like, people be like, be careful. And of course, I'm more of a conservative driver, try to be careful, and I want everyone to be safe. But in some stretches of central Montana, you could see for 10 miles. Like, you could see a deer across the road, like, 3 miles ahead. So you're good. Just keep your eyes open.
Deer.
So how much time we have with you?
Maybe
coming with time.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm sorry. This has been so much fun. I probably have like 5 minutes left. Maybe.
Okay, well, we can wrap it up because we don't want you to be late to your ball.
I got a quick one for you since we spent all this time talking about baseball. Tell us a little bit about being in the Pacific Northwest. Other than baseball, what else do you do in the off season?
Hey, you stole my question.
I'm good at that.
Big Seahawks fan. I work at Gonzaga University, so go Zags. Collegiate basketball is pretty big in the inland Northwest because of Gonzaga. But Wazoo has good teams a lot too. So I go to a lot of Zags games. I watch a lot of Zags games. I work on campus every day. It's a really fun experience. Gonzaga is a small, private Jesuit Catholic university with the best team in the country, or one of the best teams in the country. So it's super fun. Yeah, sports are fun around here. We have, the WHL hockey. Go to Tri-City Americans games, Spokane Chiefs. The Spokane Indians do a great job. They were the original AAA team for the Los Angeles Dodgers when the Dodgers moved west. So their stadium is like a 1960s AAA ballpark that now has a single A team, and it's got a lot of cool history to it. So, yeah, a lot of good stuff out here.
Wow, that's great. So, Erik, if our listeners wanted to follow your exploits, your travels, your adventures online, where could they find you?
Oh, yeah, thanks for asking. I'm mostly on Twitter, and it's my name, but my handle is @its, so ITS, Erik Mertens. But you'll see me as Erik the Peanut Guy. I'll have my Peanut Guy outfit on, which I have to throw on here in a few minutes. I'm also on Facebook, Erik the Peanut Guy. I'm on Instagram as Erik the Peanut Guy, but I mostly just post about hats. I haven't posted it about any of my travels yet. So Twitter is probably the best way if you search for Erik the Peanut Guy, or Facebook. And I would love to meet people. I'd love to keep in touch.
So yeah, just if you're in a ballpark, yell for the Peanut Guy, and it might be Erik.
Yeah,
might be some random Peanut Guy, but you never know.
All good people.
Erik with a K, not a C.
Thank you. Yes, that's important. Yeah, Erik with a K.
I'm Mark with a C, not a K. Yes.
Right.
Keep
Yeah.
Does that annoy you when people spell it with the C?
Or when
people make comments like every now and then they're like, "Oh, Mark with a C? That's an odd way to spell it." And they get in this whole conversation. I'm like, okay, be quiet. It's not that weird.
No, I mean, if they have tact, it's fine. But if they're kind of being dumb like that,
don't attack me.
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's Scandinavian. It's a Scandinavian spelling. Come on.
Yes, I was named after my grandfather Marco Tullio. So there you go.
There you go. That's
out.
very special.
Alone. Jesus.
Yeah.
Nice. What you bothered me for? All right.
Oh, hey.
We'll let you get to your game, Erik. Hey.
Eric, yeah, thanks for joining us. So we ought to do this again sometime. This was a lot of fun.
I would love to. This was
Yes.
I'm not going to lie. I was looking forward to this, but I'd only really talked to Mark. So I was like, hey, this will be fun. I didn't know it was going to be 5 really fun guys talking about things we love. So I would love to come back anytime.
All right.
To the speed limit thing one more time. Greg just asked, there's a bridge in Philadelphia somewhere where the speed limit on approach is 35 or something, but everyone goes 60. And if you drive 35, you are a dangerous driver. But if you drive at the speed of traffic, you are speeding. That's every bridge in Philadelphia. All of them.
It's everywhere in the Northeast.
Yeah, well, yeah, that too. But yeah, if you like, even the Delaware Memorial Bridge, like when you're going over the Delaware Memorial Bridge, it's supposed to be 55. Nobody's doing that. Everyone's doing 80, going. It's 4 lanes across.
Yep.
And that's why it's such a cluster F when you get to the toll booth, because you got people doing 20 miles an hour over the speed limit or faster, all merging into the lanes for the toll booth. It's fun.
Oh, I used to take that trip all the time back and forth to college.
Yeah, no, thank you. I get to do it in August. It was 40 when I went over it yesterday because of construction. People were still doing 70. Yeah, no, nobody cares. Is it blue or green? If it was blue, it's the Ben Franklin Bridge. If it's green, it's the Walt Whitman Bridge.
Oh, never thought about that. Yeah, we always used to take 95, but now they charge a toll, which kind of ticks me off.
95.
We would take you take US 1, and then that would break off to 295. Then you would get 95 towards Langhorne, over to Delaware.
Yep. Was you get further down, you got the Betsy Ross, and then further up, you get the Betsy Ross Bridge, and then the Burlington Bristol Bridge, which is not fun at all. It's a 1-lane bridge
over the Delaware.
Yeah. Yes, Paul.
No, I believe you. I'm trying to picture it. I'm not doubting you. I'm trying to.
I was going to say. I was like, yes, no, it is. The Burlington Bristol Bridge is not fun, and you swear that if you sneeze, you're going over the side. And of course, you're not. But I was just
like that.
Yeah, I was going to say it's safe, but I was like, it's about as safe as the rest of the infrastructure bridges in America. But and then if you go further down the river, you got the Commodore Barry right before the Delaware Memorial Bridge, and that's where Commodore Barry Bridge is, right next to, what do they call it this year? Subaru Park for the Union. It's had 3 names. It's Subaru Park, yeah. Union. Anyway.
Well, all right. Well, let's get this train back on the track.
That was my contribution this week. Good night. Thank you.
Thanks, Bridges. Bridge. This has been Bridge Minute with Dan. So on to the part of the show where we talk about our visits. Well, it's the part of the show where Mark and I talk about our visits because Dave. So, Mark, have you been anywhere over the past couple of weeks?
Yes, I've been to a few places. Got
Dan,
back.
I can't tease you about it because that's by choice.
I just got back from Chicago, and I sort of talked myself out of a soccer game. There was the Chicago Red Stars were playing at SeatGeek Stadium. Totally kind of flew over my mind until I saw the highlights on the news that night. But I did go to Chicago Dogs, American Association Impact Field, Rosemont, which is a little bit, it's near O'Hare. So if you ever fly into O'Hare, you can check out the ballpark. You can also check out the Chicago Wolves. They play in the same town. Nice stadium. Very, very elegant, very modern, futuristic. It doesn't look like a typical minor league ballpark. When you're there, you're like, wow, they really did a nice job here. They gave out pennants that night. There was a good crowd there. They're at sort of a limited capacity as well. They have 2 mascots. When they introduced both of them, the kids went nuts.
Oh, wow.
It was a bottle of mustard that had this sort of dog face. And
their mascot's a bottle of mustard?
The bottle of they're called the Chicago Dogs. So their mascot's a bottle of mustard with a face on it, like a kind of like a dog animal face. And then there's a bottle of ketchup. And he's the evil. He's the antagonist. So he has like a trench coat on and a little evil grin on his face. But as soon as they introduced the bottle of mustard, there's like a line of like 20 kids trying to get his autograph. It's amazing. I have never seen that with mascots at the minor league level, especially MLB Partner League, I guess is the official name now. I was with my brother-in-law. Parking is $3. Tickets were, I think, around. Well, we got complimentary tickets. I can't tell you how much they were. I think they were 8 or 11. And we bought some nachos for $10, and they piled them on with either grilled chicken or carnitas, and that filled us up. I mean, that $10 nacho was one of the most impressive nachos I've seen at a minor league ballpark or any kind of independent ballpark. So we had a good time there. I had a lot of fun. It's in a really cool neighborhood. There are outlet stores. There's a Harley Davidson store. There's some kind of Sky Zone nearby. There's some NCAA headquarters there. There's a lot to do in the area before and after the game. It's just you got to deal with traffic and tolls. So, just keep that in mind. We did stop at a place called, what the heck's it called? Deed and June's. I think that's what the name of the place. A local iconic hot dog stand, which is a couple miles south of the stadium. We got something called a depression dog, and that is a hot dog with a bunch of hand-cut French fries on it. Gene and Jude's, it's what it's
Why
called.
would that be a depression
And
dog?
that
It sounds
place
pretty uplifting.
Yeah, it was. They say that was Chicago's original hot dog, not the one you have with the pickle spear and the tomatoes. This has relish, mustard, sports pepper, and they just top it with French fries. And it was $3.50, and you had your complete meal there without the drink. And people are eating it outside at their cars, and everybody's talking. And I was talking to a guy that was out in New Jersey, was telling me about the Italian hot dog. So it was just a cool little thing to do after the game, and just a lot of fun. I really love going to these hot dog spots or these local food places in Chicago. We could do a whole show about that. We'll just have to get an expert on here. So I did that day. The next day, I was with the family. We did some family stuff. Played with the 5 and 3-year-old. They're a workout alone. Father's Day, I drove out to Schaumburg, which is not too far from Rosemont, where the Chicago Dogs are. Went to see the Schaumburg Boomers. They play in Winthrust Field now. It used to be called Alexian Field years ago when I was there. Typical minor league ballpark of its era, built about 20 years ago. Nice crowd for Father's Day. They allowed all the family to go out. They allowed everybody to go onto the field before the game to play catch. So when my video comes out, I'm going to be on the field trying to dodge baseballs because all these little boys and girls are trying to throw baseballs to their fathers. And even some moms out there. But that was just a cool little thing to do. That was a fun time too. Like both ballparks were very different in design. I felt the Schaumburg Boomers had a little bit better food options. They had better beer options. Pollyanna Brewing, which is in the Chicagoland area. They make some of the best beers in that area. Ooh. And they had a nice Pilsner. It was perfect for the day because it was not too hot, not too cold. It was just the ideal beer there. They have free parking. Tickets there were $11. And I had fun. I had a really good time there. I saw about 3 home runs in the first 2 innings. So I don't know what you can say about the pitching. But everybody seemed to have a good time there. They have a mascot too, but he only came out every now and then. He came out, he disappeared. He came out again, he disappeared. I couldn't even tell you what he looked like. I think it was a boomer, which is what the heck, a thunder chicken, I think is the name. So it's an odd little local animal is the boomer. So if anybody can let me know, tell me. And then after that, I went on my way home. I drove through East Chicago. There's a stadium there called Block Stadium. It was built in 1942 as a place for high school ball, amateur ball, American Legion. But it's going through a $5.5 million renovation as we speak, and it is completely being redone. They are doing the exterior, the interior. They redid the roof, the seats. They're adding batting cages. They're adding offices. They're adding a party deck. And I'm really desperately trying to talk to the mayor of East Chicago. I thought I had a scheduled conference with him the other day, but I haven't heard from him. He's not returning my calls. I want to know what team is going in there next summer because it is too good looking of a ballpark to just be a high school field. So, and I talked to the high school there. I know the athletic director. They said that they're not committed to playing there. They're trying to. They used to play there, but I don't know what they have planned. I know the Prospect League has talked to them. I don't know if the Northwoods League has talked to them. I have a feeling one of those two leagues will put a team in there. But that's just another cool new ballpark that people can go to in the Chicago area. And Chicago is really building up a lot of these ballparks. It's becoming a really safe haven for visitors, not to just go to a White Sox or a Cubs game, but to check out a lot of other great facilities within an hour or two of the city. So 2 ballparks, 1 ballpark visit, and 1 missed opportunity at a soccer game. I could have went to a Red Stars game, and I just completely forgot they were playing. I forgot to look them up on my schedule. So unfortunately, that doesn't happen too often. So they'll be on my radar next time.
All right. Sounds like a great weekend, or a great 2 weekends. So as for myself, I didn't have a pair of long weekends. That's coming up. But 2 weekends ago, we decided on a Friday night to catch our first Newport Gulls game of the year. So we trucked on down to Cardines Field. Well, I trucked on down. Pam works in Newport, so I just met her at work, and we went over to Cardines and caught a game in one of the most unique ballparks
I agree.
that you'll ever see. I know we've talked about Cardines in the past. Got some wonderfully weird and quirky setup, because it's so small and so old. It's been kind of built in a hodgepodge manner over the course of a century.
Yeah.
It actually used to be part of the Narragansett Bay and was slowly built up, and then it was a drain basin for steam locomotives, and then they dried that out because it just smelled so bad.
Say that bay name again.
Narragansett.
Narragansett.
37. That's the first time I learned how to pronounce that word.
Yeah,
Really?
you could buy it out here.
I don't know what the hell that was.
Narragansett. Yeah, they have Narragansett beer, which is really not good.
Had no idea how to pronounce that. Now I do.
But yeah, Cardines has, for instance, the right field foul line is a cement warehouse. You got both bullpens, both dugouts on the same side of the field. You got both bullpens shared by the 2 teams on the other side. You've got a fence that goes out to about 387 feet in left center, and then goes straight in center field to about 275 feet, and then go straight back out again to right field because there's a house there. So, and the fence is certain heights, and then it will go down to another height because there's a tree growing through the fence, and the fence has to come down to make room for the tree. If a ball hits the tree, it's a home run. But it's a great place to catch a game. It's a lot of fun, and Newport is a fantastic city to visit. There's a ton to do there, and there's a lot of history, a lot of great restaurants, and the ballpark is literally steps from the middle of everything in Newport. So, if you're ever what's that, Mark?
Oh no! When I was there was an announcer, and he would tell the kids, "Do not chase the foul ball."
They still do, yeah.
Or you may get a night in the hospital, because that is the main road going into town. That's how close you are.
Yep. Yeah. The behind the third base grandstand. I'm sorry if I'm cutting in and out here, guys. Is America's Cup Avenue, which is, like Mark said, it's the main thoroughfare in Newport. So if you chase a foul ball into that street in that direction, you are going to get hit by a car. And I'm curious over the years how many cars' windshields have been busted just randomly driving down that street. So, yeah, it's a great place to catch a game. The porch, there's a pub that's attached to the ballpark that has been sold and resold and resold. So it's undergoing renovations. So the back porch, which is on field level, is not open right now. So that's the only drawback right now to longtime visitors. But whenever anybody's coming to this area for a ballpark trip, I always recommend Cardines to them. So we followed up a trip to Cardines the next night. We went across the Newport Bridge to South Kingstown, Rhode Island, to see the Ocean State Waves, who also play in the New England League. Not a whole lot we can say about Old Mountain Field. It's one of those old community fields. Great place if you live in that community because it's got tennis courts, softball field, basketball courts, skateboard park. It's got a little bit of everything. And the summer collegiate baseball team uses the baseball field. But as far as amenities, not a whole lot to do there. Not a whole lot to do to talk about at this ballpark. But it's one of those places where you can bring your folding chair, you can bring a cooler, set up shop right on the hill that overlooks third base, great view of the action, and you can just relax and enjoy a nice night of baseball.
No free icy for chasing down a foul ball and returning it like there is in the Valley League. That was from Craig.
No. But actually, at Ocean State, you can chase down a foul ball, bring it back. They'll
I've
give
seen
you
that
$1.
before.
Ooh,
I've
$1.
seen that before.
$1. And the competition for the neighborhood kids chasing those foul balls is fierce.
I'll take $1.
Yeah, I mean, you can make money if you want to beat up
Wow.
the kids and take their baseballs and return them. You can make
Wow.
money at this point.
Wow.
So that's Ocean State. And then we went to a place, and it was really a sad visit. Ballpark visits are not always sad. But when you go to a ballpark that was built for AA baseball and then moved to single A and is now the Summer Collegiate League, and you're there and you can count the attendance on a beautiful Sunday afternoon, like I did in Norwich, Connecticut at Dodge Stadium, it was sad.
There was your first problem. You were in Norwich, Connecticut.
No, I mean, I've been going to Dodge Stadium since it opened in the mid-'90s, and I've been there for standing room only crowds, the days of the Navigators, and then went to the Defenders, and then the Tigers, and now it's the Norwich Sea Unicorns. Great branding, great merchandise.
No fans.
No, 200. I would say this crowd, I would estimate it at about 250 fans.
I didn't even know the ballpark there was still there.
In a 7,000 seat stadium, 250 people looks like nothing.
There's a 7,000 seat stadium in Norwich, Connecticut.
There is, and we've talked about that stadium. They put it in a really weird place. They put it up in the middle of an industrial park, so it's not far off of Interstate 395. But you've got to go through the industrial park to get up to it. It's about 3 miles up winding, hilly roads. So not
He was
the best
talking about
location.
the stadium in Norwich, Connecticut.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
nice facility, nice stuff. And they had all the concession stands open. And the menu was the same as it looked in the past. They had all the craft beers. They had all that stuff going on. It was just people there. So
Wow.
we'll see how long they can keep that up. Because
Wow,
it does
that's
not look
not good.
promising. No,
What's the
it doesn't.
team there?
The Norwich Sea Unicorns.
Sea Unicorns. Wow.
What's the Sea Unicorn? It's a narwhal.
Norwich. How are they not called the Norwich Narwhal?
It's too easy, I guess. I don't know. They're not names of alliteration.
Oh, screw you. Norwich Narwhal. That's easy. Come on.
Yeah. So we did that, and that was sad. But it was a nice game.
That bums
And then
me out.
last weekend we went to a game that was not so nice. At least it had a good crowd. But the final score of the game was 15-1. So.
Well, you had a Phillies game?
No, we were at the New Hampshire Fisher Cats up in Manchester, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
At North. This name of this ballpark rolls off the tongue. Northeast Delta Dental Stadium.
Yeah, you got it. That's good.
Yeah. So we've talked about North Manchester before. It's a nice ballpark. There's nothing really outstanding about it. I like the city of Norwich. Had some great barbecue before the game. We found a great barbecue place in New Hampshire. Yes, we did. And so that was Manchester. That was my trips over the last couple of weeks.
Is there another Norwich Narwhal I'm missing?
I don't think so.
Greg wants to know if your article was really 2501 because that means his was 2500.
No, I just made that up.
Oh, sorry, Greg.
I could actually look at Greg if you're really interested. Message me after the show. I can find out what it was.
I just posted the new FC Cincinnati Stadium, and I think that was the latest we've had. So let me see what that looks like.
If you look up the fanfare box, it'll tell you the number.
Yeah.
Greg,
Yeah, I forgot.
Greg said, "Oh, you got me excited."
I don't know exactly who was number 2500. I would just made that up. So, what about for the next couple of weeks? Dave, where are you going the next couple of weeks? Anywhere?
Cottage. Crazy.
When are you gonna? Are numbers good or vaccination wise? You guys gonna start?
Well, you know what? It's we are opening up now. Of course, sports is a whole different ball game because you got the border involved, and the border is the big deal, right? So, the Jays coming home is, I don't know, maybe August. The CFL is kicking off in August, so hopefully that's going to be good. I mean, Ontario, we're down. However, we got a bit of a bubble in Waterloo region here where it's not great. I mean, we're heading in the right direction. So Intercounty baseball, which I swore I'd never go to.
Dave's scraping the bottom of that barrel. Right?
It's starting soon. Actually, where I will be going a lot is Kitchener Panthers 14U single A baseball. So that's my son's team, and he's hoping to play starting on July 8th. So
Nice.
yeah, that's what I'm looking at.
So the litmus test for Dave is going to be, now that he's bought the cabin, the next time he tries to plan a big trip, what the wife's going to say, and if the funds will allow it.
Yeah, that is the that is the question mark. I do have a significant kitty from my canceled trip to Colorado a while ago. So my credits on StubHub are quite significant. And of course the what do you want to call it? Like the newness of being able to go again, I'm sure will be great.
So you're saying
it's
there's
probably
a
not
chance.
It's probably not the first trip that's going to be a big thing. It's going to be the second one that's going to be like, wait a second.
Yeah.
We do have plans to polish off Major League Baseball, and after doing this, we're like, okay, one trip. We're finishing it in one trip. So that's looking like a summer of 2022 project. But other than that, lots of books. Just finished one on, it's called A War in Dixie, which is all about, it was day by day, the week leading up to the Iron Bowl, the 2000 Iron Bowl. So funny enough, they picked one of the worst Alabama teams to cover ever, and an Iron Bowl that was in the rain and not so stellar, but went thoroughly into the history of the rivalry. Pat Dye and Bo Jackson versus Ken Stabler, Bear Bryant. So it was interesting. But actually, one thing I'm into right now, which is really interesting, is John Feinstein, who is quickly becoming my favorite sports writer of all time. He wrote one a while ago called The Punch, which is this in-depth look at the one punch that Kermit Washington landed on Rudy Tomjanovich that absolutely shook the NBA to its core and changed everything. And
that sounds interesting.
It's fascinating. But yep,
yeah,
that's
that
me.
Reverberated throughout the league at the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not quite sure. We haven't got back to playing yet after the big punch, but Kermit Washington ended up on your Celtics right after. He never played another game for the Lakers again. During his suspension, he was traded to Celtics. So,
all right.
I'll let you know in a couple weeks what I thought of that. But
and of course, we all know that Rudy Tomjanovich went on to bigger and better things.
Yes.
Mark, how about you? You got any travels coming up?
Yeah, I'm looking at the Richmond Jazz. They play at McBride Stadium, which I think was built sometime before World War II or right after. That's about an hour away. I've been looking to go back to update that facility, along with making a new video. That's on my list, along with the Indianapolis Indians. Need to update there as well, waiting for them to be at 100%. And I was thinking about renting a car and just driving like 6 hours to see the Rocket City Trash Pandas, but I think it's about $150 a day to rent a car now, so I may just do local. Literally, I was looking at renting a car for the North Carolina trip, and I think for the week it would have been about $649 for rent a car, so probably just going to be bringing my car, which will be fine. It's a little bit of a sticker shock. I know that car prices went up, but God bless anybody who's traveling right now by plane who has to rent a car from the airport. I can only imagine how much those are. So, yeah, just keep things local. Richmond would like to get to the new soccer stadium in Cincinnati and Columbus when Columbus opens. Cincinnati is already open. We actually have a review from there, but they're not playing for a few more weeks again there. So there's options, just playing things by ear. And I think my wife is getting to the point where she's telling me you've been traveling every weekend to somewhere. So stay put, clean the house, stay in the deck, take care of some other stuff. So
Yeah, that's why I only went to
Richmond Jazz. Yeah. Richmond Jazz, I think, will do it. I'd like to get back up to Chicago to check out some more stuff there. So there's options. I can't complain. So.
All right. Greg, to answer your question from before, Stadium Journey has 2,524 different reviews right now. Not bad. On our way to 3,000. Here we go.
Yeah.
For me, the next couple of weekends, we got two back-to-back. We have back-to-back long weekends coming up. So this weekend we're hitting the road. We're going to go down and catch the Lancaster Barnstormers.
Nice.
While we're in the area, we'll catch the Reading Fighting Phils. And on the way home, if the weather holds, we'll go check out the New Jersey Jackals. If the weather doesn't hold, we'll catch the Connecticut Sun. So depending on what Sunday looks like. Well, I'll go catch the trumpet guy and see if he's still mad at us.
Oh, yeah. Bring him a peace offer to the trumpet guy at the Jackals game.
Yeah. And then the following weekend is 4th of July weekend and my birthday. So we're going to hit up the Woo Sox again for a second time, and we're going to catch the Newport Gulls on the Sunday. We'll make a Sunday day of it in Newport, which is just always just a fun day. So that's what we're doing the next couple of weekends. And that's where we're going to end things for tonight. And I want to thank everybody for listening and thank you for your support. So, Dan, where can our listeners follow you online if they're looking for you?
Dan Law 83.
I guess they can go there even if they're not looking for you.
I mean, if you're looking for me, I'd prefer you go there than look for me because
Dan Law 83.
Okay, stay away from me.
Hey, Mark, where can our listeners follow you online?
Ballpark Hunter. Yeah, Ballpark Hunter across all media platforms. Check out my review of Block Stadium. I take you inside to show you the construction. The construction worker let me in, so I did not sneak in. And you get a nice little 10-minute video. And yeah, Ballpark Hunters, Instagram. I need to get on Instagram a little bit more. So yeah, subscribe, follow, comment, like, do all that stuff.
And Dave, how about you? Where can
At Twitter at ProFan9. Obstructed Views coming up. Next one is Busch Stadium, home of the St. Louis Cardinals. And the last one, hockey season playoffs. Check out the Anaheim Ducks at the Honda Center.
And you can follow my Stadium Journeys on Twitter or Instagram at PuckmanRI. And the RI stands for, I don't know, really interesting? Actually, RI stands for Rhode Island, even though I live in Massachusetts now. It's a long story.
One of my favorite moments ever.
What was that?
When you did that the first time, and I just, you saw me go, huh? Oh, Jesus, and then start laughing.
You know what? That was really a play on it. I don't know if any of you ever read the World According to Garp.
Yeah.
And it was T.S. Garp.
Yeah.
He used to say, the TS stands for terribly sexy.
Yes.
But not anymore. All right. So anyway.
Man.
Don't forget to check out our website, stadiumjourney.com. And like, follow, share, and subscribe to Stadium Journey on all of our social media channels. You can find us at Stadium Journey. And you can find the podcast by searching HIAC Talk Radio Network on your podcast app or look on Spotify. And we simulcast live every other Tuesday night at 8 Eastern at twitch.tv/DanLaw83. We will be back in 2 weeks. That is July 6th. And we will be joined by Stadium Journey correspondent Erik Moreno. And we will be talking about the sports venues of San Antonio and Houston. It's a Texas two-step. Until then, be safe with your Stadium Journeys as things open back up. And we'll see you on the road.